Once upon a time.
There is a quiet kind of sadness that only good people understand. Not the loud sadness. Not the kind that cries in public or asks the world for attention. I mean the silent kind. The kind that sits beside you late at night when the house is finally quiet. When everyone else is asleep and your mind begins replaying every moment where you chose kindness and somehow still ended up hurt. Because deep inside many honest people, there is a question they are almost afraid to ask out loud. Why does it feel like the world rewards the wrong people? Why do those who lie, manipulate, betray, and step over others often move through life faster, while the ones who try to stay decent carry the heaviest burdens? If you have ever felt that way, you are not bitter. You are tired. There is a difference. Tired people begin questioning life in silence, not because they hate goodness, but because they are exhausted from watching selfishness look more successful. You see someone cheat their way forward, someone betray people without guilt, someone speak without kindness, act without conscience, and somehow still walk away with more money, more status, more recognition. And meanwhile, good people sit quietly wondering whether they accidentally hurt someone with a sentence they said 3 days ago. That is the painful difference. Some people lose sleep because they care too much. Others sleep peacefully because they feel nothing at all. And for a moment, it can make goodness feel like a disadvantage. Maybe you have felt it too. Maybe there was a moment where life disappointed you so deeply that a dangerous thought crossed your mind. What if the world only belongs to ruthless people? It is a frightening thought, because once a good person starts believing that kindness has no value, something inside them slowly begins to harden. Not immediately. It happens quietly. They trust less, love less, smile less, hope less. And eventually, they begin carrying a sadness they cannot explain to anyone. But the truth is more complicated than it first appears. Yes, people without conscience often move faster because they are not carrying what you carry. They do not carry guilt after hurting someone. They do not carry responsibility for other people's feelings. They do not sit awake at 2 a.m. replaying conversations in their head. While you hesitate because your heart still asks, "Is this right?" They move without hesitation because that question never even enters their mind. And in a world obsessed with speed, ruthless people often appear powerful. But appearances are dangerous because the world only sees what is visible. It sees money, cars, confidence, luxury, attention. The world rarely sees loneliness, fear, emptiness, or the quiet panic of someone who built their life by abandoning pieces of their soul. There are people who look successful in public, but cannot sit alone with themselves in silence. And silence tells the truth about everyone. A peaceful mind is invisible. That is why so many people underestimate its value. The saddest part is that good people often begin blaming their kindness for their suffering. But kindness is usually not the real problem. The real problem is that many good-hearted people never learn how to protect themselves. They confuse kindness with self-sacrifice. They believe being loving means always saying yes. Being patient means staying silent. Being understanding means accepting disrespect. So they give and give and give, until one day they wake up emotionally exhausted, wondering why nobody gives back to them the way they gave to others. And the painful answer is this: the world often treats you the way you allow it to treat you. Goodness without boundaries becomes permission for people to take advantage of you. And many kind souls slowly destroy themselves trying to save everyone except themselves. There are people who would drain your energy forever if you never learned to say no. That does not mean you should become cold. It means you must become aware. Aware that your heart deserves protection too. Some people spend their whole lives trying to avoid becoming selfish and accidentally become invisible instead. They stay quiet about their needs, quiet about their pain, quiet about what they deserve. Then they watch louder people take everything they were too afraid to ask for. Not because louder people are always better, but because life rewards clarity more than silent suffering. And maybe that is one of the hardest lessons good people ever learn. Being kind is not enough. You must also be brave enough to protect your worth. You must learn that saying no does not make you cruel. Walking away does not make you heartless. Wanting peace does not make you selfish. Some people only know how to love you when you are useful to them. And one of the most painful moments in life is realizing that your loyalty meant more to you than it did to the people receiving it. But do not let that realization poison your heart. Please do not. Because this world already has enough cold people. What it lacks are good people who are also strong. People who remain kind, but no longer naive. People who still love deeply, but no longer abandon themselves in the process. People who help others without forgetting they deserve help too. Maybe the goal was never to become ruthless. Maybe the goal was to become wiser, to understand that you can have boundaries and still have a beautiful heart, that you can protect your peace without losing your humanity, that you can remain soft in a world trying to harden you. And perhaps that is the real strength. Not becoming cruel because life hurt you, not becoming bitter because the world disappointed you, not losing your soul just because selfish people seem to get ahead faster. Because years from now, when the noise fades, when status no longer matters, when the applause disappears and life becomes quiet again, you will not remember every dollar someone had. You will remember how people made you feel. You will remember who brought peace into your life, who brought honesty, who brought warmth into dark seasons. And one day, when you are finally alone with your thoughts, there will only be one question that truly matters. Did I become someone I can live with? Not someone admired, not someone feared, not someone envied. Just someone real. Someone whose soul did not disappear while chasing success. Because in the end, the people who sleep peacefully
are often richer than the people who sleep surrounded by everything except peace. And the world learns that lesson far too late.